Dynamics of the ventilated neonates. Normal, the main purpose of this topic is to understand the hemodynamics while in ventilation. Normally, the main purpose of ventilation is to maintain the cellular metabolism, which is in which is dependent on cardiac output, blood oxygen concentration. Cardiac output is dependent on preload and contractility and afterload. Normally, in spontaneous ventilation and positive pressure ventilation, the intrathoracic pressure is increased, which in turn increases the preload, afterload, and heart rate and myocardial contractility. Preload is the filling of the atria during the diastole, and afterload is resistance of the small and large vessels. Normally, during the normal spontaneous respiration, usually the intrapleural pressure is fall in the intrapleural pressure, which can leads to the preload of which can leads to the increase of the right ventricular preload. From there to it increases the ejection of the right ventricle. From there to the pulmonary vasculature, and during the exhalation, left ventricular preload increases. From there, with increasing the left ventricular preload, left ventricular ejection also increases. During mechanical ventilation, with the positive pressure, when there is intrathoracic pressure is increased, it can lead to the reduction of the preload on the right ventricle, increase in the afterload on the right ventricle, reduction of the left ventricular preload, and increase in the left ventricular afterload. With the positive pressure, whenever the positive pressure ventilation we are giving, and that positive pressure ventilation is transmitted to the pulmonary vessel, with pulmonary, then in pulmonary vessel, the increase in the pulmonary pressure in the vasculature, which can lead to the right ventricular afterload. Pulmonary vascular resistance is the main factor determine the afterload on the right ventricular, and it is directly related to the volume of the lungs. With both excessive and insufficient tidal volume can significantly increase the pulmonary vasculature, pulmonary vascular resistance. Here in this tidal volume we are drawing on x-axis, and pulmonary vascular resistance we are drawing on the y-axis. With small tidal volume and also pulmonary vascular resistance is increases, and with high tidal volume also pulmonary vascular resistance increases. In small tidal volume, because of small tidal volume, alveolar collapse will occur, and this leads to the extra alveolar vessel collapse. It can lead to the raised vascular resistance. With increased tidal volume, with increased tidal volume also, alveolar vessels will collapse. It can lead to the increased pulmonary vascular resistance. During the mechanical ventilation, increase in the transpulmonary blood flow, it can lead to the decreased preload, which in turn leads to the decreased cardiac output, decreased systolic pressure, and decreased systemic blood flow during the inspiration time. See, in this we are seeing how increased positive pressure ventilation leads to the decreased preload and decreased RV afterload. With increased intrapleural pressure, there is a transmural pressure also increases. With this, pumping of the right ventricle decreases. With this, and decrease preload of the right ventricle decreases. In with increased positive pressure ventilation, increased pulmonary vascular resistance will increase. It can lead to the left atrial pressure. It can lead to the decreased pulmonary blood flow, so that left ventricular preload also decreases, so that both left ventricular and right ventricular preload will decreases with positive pressure ventilation. All these are the main mechanisms, hemodynamic changes that occur during the mechanical ventilation. We will see in each individual patient, like preterms. Usually in preterms, with early gestational infants, these preterm infants are characterized by adrenal insufficiency, low sympathetic stimulation, and a tendency to vasodilation. And all these will exacerbate the previous hemodynamic changes which we have discussed. And these changes even more severe in septic condition, which is accompanied by the distributive shock and relative hypovolemia. So in preterm babies, mostly in preterm babies, acute respiratory failure occur in conditions like RDS and pneumonia and pulmonary hemorrhage and TTNB. In all these conditions, these are the main mechanisms like alveolar collapse and decreased FRC and decreased compliance and increased pulmonary hypertension and secondary damage to the surfactant system. These and all these changes will lead to the cardiovascular disorders like right ventricular failure, which is in the form of decreased RV preload and increased RV afterload. And left ventricular dysfunction is also in the form of low preload of the left heart and myocardial ischemia due to the reduced contractility because of reduced preload of the left ventricle. So, during the mechanical ventilation, to prevent all this, first we have to maintain the normal volemia before the initiation of mechanical ventilation with high mean airway pressure and inotrope therapies in case of myocardial dysfunction is there and vasoconstrictors if vasodilatation is also there to stabilize the mechanical ventilation. And in left ventricular failure associated with the increased pulmonary volume, pulmonary blood volume in the pulmonary vessel, in this case, we have to reduce the preload by increasing the with positive pressure and with positive and expiratory pressure. We have to maintain the alveoli in an open state so that it can prevent the secondary atelectasis, improve the atrial oxygenation. It can lead to the increased coronary blood flow. Thereby, it can increase the myocardial contractility. So, with ventilatory support like positive pressure in patients with LV dysfunction can increase the cardiac output and reduce the blood congestion in the pulmonary vessels. So, in obstructive pulmonary disorders like BPD is characterized by the increased resistance of airway, as a result which mechanical ventilation expiration is not completed. So, there is autopip will occur. So, in autopip, overinflation of the lungs occur, intrathoracic pressure increases, pulmonary vessels are compromised, and it again increases it after increases, and it again increases the afterload on the right ventricle, and some extent on the left ventricular preload also will decrease. See, in this autopip will in this inspiratory limb is completed, but in the in this expiratory limb doesn't reach to the zero where we can have a some amount of small amount of air left in this. So this autopip will occur. This autopip will automatically increase the pulmonary vascular resistance. So that pulmonary, so in this, to prevent the autopip we have to increase the expiratory time and like decrease the ratio of inhalation to exhalation so that expiratory time is more, so that remaining amount of air will expire out. During mechanical ventilation, maintaining the right preload with and inotropes and vasopressor therapy in combined with the multimodality respiratory function to minimize the impact of positive intrathoracic pressure that was created during the mechanical ventilation. In this modern patient trigger ventilation, volume guaranteed are able to maintain the alveolar ventilation with oxygen at a proper level while forming moderate positive pressure in airways to achieve the required minute ventilation. This is the strategy.
Very nice, Naidu. Of course, it was a little complex to fathom immediately, but we have digested some of what you have said. But most of us do definitely know that ventilation, if you have better pressures, better lung recruitment happens, and naturally oxygenation happens, and the pulmonary vascular resistance is better improved. But we'll keep this in mind about your learning. Maybe if you could share the slides in our group, we'll be able to probably go through it more in detail at leisure.
Okay.
What is the main reference source for this presentation, Naidu, so that we can read the original reference source?
Sir, I will post in this group, sir.
Very nice.